We are back. It's Eli, the Marfan homie, back at it again with another episode. Um, how are y'all? How are y'all? I know. I hope you guys caught my last video, my last episode. This episode is going to be a very personal and touchy episode. Just because I thought things would have changed by now. However, they have not. So this is where we are. So I think in the episode before this one, I did mention that I was currently unemployed and hoping by the time that you guys saw the last episode that I would be gainfully employed. However, that status has not changed. So my next hope is by the time that you guys hear this episode that I will be gainfully employed and things of that nature. But other than that, we're going to get back to that. I can't even do other than that because, like I said, it's going to be a very touchy episode. But other than that, or get back to that later, what's happened since? So, like I said on the last episode, we have a 95-year-old in the family. So, congrats to that. My grandma has turned 95. We went to New York to celebrate her 95th birthday. Saw family that I probably have not seen in years. Everyone that was once kids, they're no longer kids anymore, so everyone's like mad huge. But yeah, it was a festivity. Like it was very fun. The whole shout out to the planning committee, shout out to all my family that got involved during the planning stages. Shout out to all my family that put in what they needed to put in to make this thing happen. And it was good, man. It was definitely good. I think, well, I saw it. My grandma enjoyed. I thought she was going to turn it in early. My grandma stayed out till 10 p.m. Man, it was a sight. And then with that, it was no snow. And then literally probably like the party started at 3, probably like around 6 or 7, it started snowing. Had to drive back to the hotel in New York snow of all things, up and down the hills or whatever. But it was actually good. It was a good situation. So yeah, very good thing. What's next? All right. So yeah, what's happened since? So again, like I shared last episode. So what's happened since? Applications, man. I've been putting in so many applications. And with this being the Marfan homie, I promise you is gonna get back to we're gonna do this whole full circle thing, how it all relates and whatnot. But I just wanted to get this off my chest and just again, I haven't told many people, and of course, whoever listens to this podcast will know. And I'm still not telling many people, even though I'm putting it in a podcast for like the world to know. I mean, again, if you hear it and you reach out, if you don't hear it, or if you hear it and you don't reach out, whatever. I mean, I'm not counting on any of that. I haven't told many people because it's still something that I'm struggling with in a way. As far as what is happening or what am I expecting or what's happening next. There's just a lot of ambiguity and honestly confusion in the air, and it's a pretty tough place to navigate for me right now. Because again, I've been unemployed before, but it only lasted a month, and it honestly didn't feel like it lasted 2 months. I got hired within the first month, and I started the following month. So with this, it's been just a little different, seeing that it's been such a long time. I've just been hearing stories about people remaining unemployed for 6 months on end, and I'm just like, how? I mean, again, they're probably getting part-time jobs, supplemental income, and stuff like that, and it's a thing. And as you can tell, it's still hitting me. However, we're gonna kick this here, and then let's do this as well. Hold on. Alright, yeah, had to put on that podcast Do Not Disturb because people like to butt in and text you and call you. So what's next with the podcast? So this morning I was doing some more testing. Of course, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and buy a better podcaster. Because the things that I want to do, this was good, but the things that I want to do and the things that like will allow me to be far away from the mic, like as of now, I'm like, I just can't do it. So yeah. So I'm gonna figure that out. And again, it's a good mic. It's just I think the podcaster itself does not allow for me to be as far away that I want to. The gains or like picking up the gains and stuff on it is just it's not ideal. So that's what's next with the podcast, upgrading the equipment. Um Upgrading the equipment and starting to do I'm gonna try and do like multi-angle shots, especially with when I start pulling more people and interviewees back onto the podcast. um Even with that, that's another piece of equipment that I have that I want to update, fairly personal and podcastual, however you want to put it. So yeah, that's what's new with the podcast, so let's get into it. All right, what does it say? No. So yeah, I guess I was not writing here, and I said let's make it a point that I lost my job 3 days after my birthday. So yeah, my birthday was November 11th, and I was let go 3 days after that. So that's how that went. So yeah, the PIP I was placed on. So as we know, well, if you don't know what a PIP is, a performance improvement plan, and they put you on this performance improvement plan because they think that or seeing that you have not been adequately meeting certain things or whatever, certain benchmarks, which again, of course, I believe is untrue. I'm not really here to argue whether it's true or not because there's no one in front of me and it's already happened and I'm not trying to relive that. However, they put you on these things to see if you can hit the benchmark. But in most cases, in like 90% of the cases, there's really no much fighting it. They just do their due diligence before letting you go and stuff like that. So yeah, I was placed on the PIP back in like September. And honestly, the PIPs, as far as I know, are only supposed to go on a month. So I'm thinking by October 14th, they're either going to let me know what the deal is with the degree, but that wasn't the case. So they went on an extra month. And that extra month really threw me off because I didn't really expect it to go that long. But that's just how that happened. So within here, I said the case of being built and how things got to this point. So yeah, and but basically, how we got to this point was back in March or January or March. My first, I guess, complaint against me was formed and saying that I wasn't doing what I need to do. I was being too reliant or dependent on other people, of course, which is not true. And things just sort of escalated from there. So yeah, I'm glad we're off this. It's quick. But so the case was being built. I can feel a case being built against me. It's like March of last year, and then things progressed into like June or May, where a director stepped in and started basically like telling me that I wasn't doing what I needed to do. I'm always doing this and not that, and they started stripping away a lot of my accesses away for me to do my daily job. And then I told my manager about that. He was like, how can they do that if how can they expect you to be successful with stuff that they're saying you're asking too much about if they do that? Talked about it, nothing ever happened. So a couple months later after that, I guess again everybody's talking in the behind the scenes saying that maybe Elijah needs to switch in management or whatever the case may be. So they switched my manager. Again, this is probably my fourth manager since being at this company within 3 years, and two of those managers happened within first 3 months, so very unstable. But yeah, that was one thing. And then but basically got switched to the new manager. She gave it about a week before she was like, I don't like it. Before like she well, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It was like a month. But even then, we were switching to new programs and switching to new things. So I was basically trying to get caught up because, again, I wasn't involved in the meetings that I was not involved in the meetings that revolved around the new project. And so I didn't get everything until the tail end. So, of course, now it looks bad on me that I'm not knowing what I need to know or doing what I'm supposed to do. However, when I asked, no one told. And when I told, I was told on. Like, it was very confusing. I think, again, everybody, like, again, one lesson learned, everybody looks out for themselves. Look out for yourself. Like, at the end of the day, kiki, ha ha, whatever. But at the end of the day, look out for yourself. Like, it's crazy that I'm talking about it because, again, it's affected me outside of work, but I honestly can't stand to talk about it anymore. But look out for you when it comes to your job. Look out for you. And one thing I will say on my next job is that I'm gonna need a hard drive for all the emails. I'm saving every single email, whether you're passive aggressive, cold, hot, whatever. I'm saving every email, honestly, everything. So basically, so how that affected me externally or outside of work. So that day comes and I'm there November 15th, just in complete awe, trying to piece it all together, trying to do what I need to do. But nothing clicked to me medically. So with me medically. So it was just like, normally after my AAA surgery that I had back in 2018, November of 2018, I've been having a stand-in appointment in December to do a CAT scan, once a year CAT scan of that general area. Unfortunately, last year, December, I was unable to meet that obligation due to the fact of not having any insurance or employment. Even with that thing that they very code word, like, but basically it was a CAT scan. It wasn't enough to cover the cost of the CAT scan. I forget the word, but Nova, or it's something like some supplemental insurance that you get for 30 days after your last day. Just honestly, I just didn't. I felt I'm trying not to continually feel bad about the things that are happening, but during that time specifically, seeing that it was so close, and then next month was my girlfriend's birthday. Next month was Christmas. It was right before Thanksgiving, so it was just like a lot of stress. I hate using that word, but it was a lot of stress, a lot of stressful moments during that time. And I just couldn't wrap around and believe that all this was happening around the holiday time. And I just wanted to do so much more, and I couldn't. It was a lot of things, just managing, and I guess this is a platform for me to release it and let it out. Managing what you want to do with what you financially can do, and managing that level of, I guess, anxiety, stress, not wanting to quote unquote crash out, not wanting to punch a hole in the wall, the door, not wanting to just release a slew of emotions because, for one, you're a man, and two, you might break something, whether you or the thing you're forcing something against. It was a lot. It was very much a lot of things that I had to manage. And again, I can't let my heart rate get too high. I gotta always be calm. And it was just, I don't even think up to now I haven't released the amount of aggression and I guess resentment that I have towards the situation, because it was like, I know I did everything that I needed to do to get off the PIP and still have a job and still continue to work with them. Again, the job was good, the people were good people. And again, I'm not against taking. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe there's something I could have done different. I know there's something that I could have did different. However, again, like I said, 90% of the time, once you get put on the PIP, you're gonna get let go. It was just, to this day, there's so much I don't know what to call it. All I know is I still want to punch a wall. I still want to literally punch a hole through a wall. I still want to break something, and that won't solve anything. I just want to do it because at least I'm able to take my anger out on something. This might be a whole nother episode. Anger management, stress level, all that good stuff. That might be a whole nother episode. But back to the appointments. So appointments, medical applications, appointments. So I had that appointment for the CAT scan, and I had to cancel it, unfortunately. The lady was like, I understand. If you Cobra, so they offer you Cobra 30 days after your thing. But again, I only had that one appointment. It was a CAT scan. We all know those are expensive, so it was just like, what's the point? So glad I figured that out. So that was one thing. Couldn't do the CAT scan. So as of now, now I have to medications that I have to get, prescriptions that I have to get filled at my local pharmacy. Excuse me, sorry. Can't go in there talking about I need a refill. I pay $7, $6 for the medication. I can imagine what it is without a RX, the little RX thing or the insurance. I'm just like, now I have to be scarce with my Losartan. If we all know that's the blood pressuring, the blood pressure medication. I have to be scarce with that. Again, with that, I have to eat things that help manage my blood pressure, and I have to think in ways that help me manage my stress levels that go against my blood pressure. It's a lot. I mean, again, there's a lot of things that you have that you tend to not think about when you're in this type of situation. So again, like for me, the medication, I only have one to fulfill at the moment. However, I can't do it because medication without insurance is highly expensive. I have no insurance due to no employment, and even with that, right now the job market it's not the best. Like I said, I've been filling out applications. I know that I'm qualified for a lot of the positions that I have filled out, but things just have not been necessarily going my way. I haven't given up hope for them, and I'm really trying not to. Again, I understand that's the process, and certain things are hit or miss. And again, not all the applications that I've filled out have resulted in a rejection letter. I'm hoping that a lot of them don't. However, I have received a lot of moving forward with other candidate letters for some of the positions that I have applied to. So again, if you're listening to this and you know anybody that is looking for a data analysis outside of me doing my podcast, please let me know. Feel free, comments, whatever, and just let me know. So what else? Where are we? So yeah, like I said, rationing what's left. So like with my medication, I haven't looked in there probably since November to see what I had, because I know I've taken a few since November, because I feel like sometimes my stress level has just been so high that it's just like, what am I doing? How do I cope with this? What else can I use in supplement to Losartan? Like, it's so many questions. Then with that, so another thing is, during this whole process, I also was denied unemployment. I don't know if the stories that misaligned. I don't know if my severance was too high for um, for unemployment to feel comfortable with giving me that supplemental income. I don't know what the thought was. All I know is I did not receive it, or I was been denied. So with that, I do plan on applying again. But again, that would be that'll help relieve some stress and give me the breathing room that I would be able to allocate for myself. Seeing that again, what I've learned is bills don't stop, so that'll help me with allocating some funds in different places and things of that nature. Ultimately, I need a job, but you got to work with what you get or what you don't get. Yeah, so finding another job. I think at the beginning I was probably putting in like 20 to 50 applications a day. Still pretty much on the grind. Like again, it's been getting like my actions to do those things have been getting a little slower because again, it's what is true is like again, you see so many rejections, not enough exceptions. It's hard to want to do more applications, but I can't give up. Like even yesterday, I'm working on my personal website to showcase more of my skills and stuff like that. So I'm not giving up. I'm honing in. I'm decorating myself to get another Capitol building occupation, like getting another job. So I'm working very high towards what needs to happen and what I need to do. So yeah, working with recruiters, that's been a thing. I mean, again, I had a couple of recruiters reach out to me, and I've had a couple of recruiters reach out to me. How successful those contact moments were, not too successful. I wish they were more successful, but again, I reached out to them. They haven't reached out back. Well, once they said like, oh, the job has changed or the plans have changed, I reached out to them. They haven't reached back. One of them was a government recruiter, and of course, as we know, when presidents come into office, government employee acquiring does slow down. So there's that, and it's been a process, man. It's been a real process that I'm trying to just figure out and hope for the best. So the next thing is traveling with all of this. I will say again, like when I went to New York, I had to allocate some money to, of course, be able to walk around. I mean, again, I am in New York. I know it does sound, to some, it may sound irresponsible. To others, it may sound selfish. But to me, there's a mixture of both in there, and that's just to be completely honest. So I've also driven to Atlanta, Georgia, while this has been going on, and that has been a thing. Even with that, I think it's that was pretty much wasn't too bad. I mean, again, it was New Year's right after Christmas. A lot's been going on with the fam, so it's just like, why not? Sometimes, again, I think even in life, during these down moments, it's good to be around loved ones and things like that. Again, that's what I pleasantly discovered, that while going through these trials and tribulations, being around loved ones, being around some people that have been in your shoes before, gives you a sense of everything is going to be all right. You just got to keep putting in the work and keep putting in the applications, keep putting in the website building and stuff like that, and just put in that work, and everything will follow. What a traveling. Yeah, I mean, again, what else can I say about the whole traveling portion? I mean, it's traveling on a budget. It's knowing how much you need to spend before you even leave your home. Like, I did so many calculations. I moved things where they needed to be moved, and I said, once this is zero, time to go back home. And that's honestly what happened. So yeah, even with that, that's been a thing. So bouncing back from this or being here before, like I said, I've been here before. It just took less time. So if I'm ever in this again after I gain employment, I know what to do. However, I don't want to find myself here again, so I'm going to be doing a lot more things to make sure I'm not here again. Because I don't want. I honestly, I don't want to be under the mercy or under this type of whatever like this again. I don't want to be here again. Um, so I'm gonna be working on things in the meantime to make sure that I can bounce back from this quicker than what it has been taking me now. So yeah, remaining calm. I would say that that's been my main thing. I've been working on remaining calm. I haven't joined any yoga class or anything like that, but I have been what I found that writing down a list of the things that I want to do once I have the funds. Um, again, that might be backwards, like, oh, you're supposed to be saving. You're supposed to be like, you don't know when this is gonna happen again. I get that. I promise you, I do. But I've also been writing down a lot of the things that I want to do, and that's I have found peace in that. Again, I've written out my budget to go to the Star Lounge weekly. I have written out my budget to go on dates. I have written out my budget to add to my traveling fund. Like again, these are all things that I'm gonna feed into and some feed back into once I get another job. Because again, I think during the last year, and a part of why I didn't do the podcast last year was because I wasn't, for one, I wasn't focused, and two, I was worried about everything else. I wasn't worried about one. Like, sounds weird, but I wasn't worried about me. I would tell myself, I'm not worried about myself. Make sure everybody else is okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. I promise you, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that now that this time around, it's like 51 you, 49 you, 60 you, 40 them. Like it's stuff like that. You have to. This time around, I'm gonna prioritize self because again, a lot, and even one other thing I would say was just like, why have the job if you're not able to do the things that you want to do for you and your other people? But I let that go of that me. I let go of like the me aspect. But again, like I said, I've been finding pleasure in writing down the things that I want to do once I gain employment. So that's been fun. So that helps me remain calm, keeping stress level down. I mean, honestly, I create a work day for myself. Some days it's, well, one day out the week it's filming my podcast, but the other days out the week, like the work week, quote unquote, I read, I put in amount of applications, and I honestly treat it like a work day and sit down. Some people follow what you want. That's my work day. Like even yesterday, I said, all right, let's take a different lane today. We're gonna work on the website. So even then, I spent about 4 to 6 hours working on my website and trying to put things together, and my resume. So I've also been resume building and things like that. Just trying out different avenues so this whole algorithm thing can actually catch my resume. One day I took out to reach out to recruiters via LinkedIn. I had the LinkedIn Premium. I canceled that subscription due to the fact that I felt like it wasn't working. So with my last couple of days of the LinkedIn Premium subscription, I'm going to be reaching out to recruiters, which they allow you to do, seeing that you have the premium subscription. I'm going to give it a break though. I think that money could have been definitely spent somewhere better, because I'm thinking that, well, you got LinkedIn Premium, you're seeing more, this and the third. That's not necessarily how it works. So I've learned my lesson on that. Blood pressure, heart rate. I will say I don't take my blood pressure often. I probably should take it. It's probably not where it needs to be, or it could be low. Who knows? I guess I'm not so stressed from work that it's just running high all the time. Yeah. Diet. Eating habits per se. I would actually say they've changed. And it's probably not for the best. I've noticed that I've been eating less. I've been working out more and eating less, which is crazy. Um, and I think I'm just eating due to like the emotions of it all. Not feeling the want to eat or not feeling the want to go inside the kitchen and actually cook and make meal prep like I have to do today. I honestly don't want to. I remember like for 3 days straight, and this happens in stints since I was like, go. I won't eat, or I'll probably eat like once a day, and I'll notice, and I still won't do anything about it. Some people they're so busy and or not busy, and they just don't eat. I noticed, and I'm just like, I'm not hungry. Especially again, even coming back from New York, I think I ate like a piece of something, and I was good for like 10 hours. And then I ate that same, like I finished it. I ate half of it. 10 hours later, I ate the other half and went to bed. Um, I don't. I know it's not good, so I know I should definitely eat it. Like I said, I'm gonna work on making something healthy, making something very green, leafy to supplement. What am I trying to say? To supplement that. So yeah, gonna be working on that. My diet hasn't suffered. It's just the amount that I've been eating can definitely be increased again, rather than on the way that it's been decreasing since said event. Like even then, like Thanksgiving, I ate. Honestly, I didn't feel like eating, and that was weird. And we just had so much stuff, honestly, in the fridge. It was crazy. Like the whole turkey and everything. Wild. This is partially because I wrote that down. I'm so funny. I said partially because I can't afford to eat like I used to. I mean, again, that's partially true. Again, I find myself going to the grocery store buying the bare essentials. I mean, if I get something, I'll get something. Eggs are on the rise. So since my last podcast, 18 eggs have went from $4.99 to $8 freaking. So yeah, not buying eggs until the price comes back down. But so that's one thing. So I guess can't afford to eat like I want to. Finding a part-time job until something strikes. That means standing on my feet and getting swollen. So again, as we know, most part-time jobs or most retail jobs, you stand on your feet. I know with me, the one reason why I have been avoiding getting a retail or part-time job is because I think that pain from that job is going to be worse than me, like not getting a job. Like it's a lot of pressure, and again, my feet swell like at the drop of a coin, tap of a button, all those things. I'm just like, I don't necessarily want to put my body through that. And again, it sounds selfish, but I know my body, and I know that by the third or second day, not being able to recover, get that elevation that I need to drop that swelling, it's just I'm not gonna be happy. So I'm trying to even find that medium balance or whatever it is that I need to do to get that squared away. So yeah, I'm working on that as well. Again, not to say that I haven't put in any applications for retail or you say non-corporate level jobs or whatever, however you want to say it, with sounding politically correct. What am I trying to say? I put them in to companies that I know I would thrive at, and that I know that I think the happiness from being at those type of jobs would be better. So yeah, that's just me. Again, it's like happy, feet still swollen, but I'm happy, or rather just be at this part-time gig, feet swollen, I'm happy. It's a lot that I've been thinking about, and this has been going into. So, I'm down for whatever. I have put some applications in, just trying to see what the turnaround and what's going on. But ultimately, remaining stress free. So believing in God and having faith. So one thing that I I talk to God almost every morning, and I know something is going to happen. I tell him this. I tell God this as well. I know something is going to happen. I just don't know when. So me having that faith and putting in the work. I think one quote is like, putting in work without faith is dead, or something like that. You all know the quote. Or what is for us will not pass us by. The more eloquent way to put that quote. Uh, um, so I've been putting in applications. I've been trying to narrow down more of not just like putting in any application. Like, no, this is something that I want. Let me put it in. This is something that I don't want. Let me not waste my time. So I've been trying to be more forward and direct with what I want and what I want to ask the Lord for. And so like I said, me and him talk daily. Everyone knows, and I tell him, like, I think you've told everyone else except for me, who can let me in on the secret so I can know when to stop worrying. And I think there's a big lesson for this for me is you're always going to be worried, even when you have the job, because you're worried that they're letting you go. Even when you don't have a job, you're worried about getting hired. So you're always going to be worried. I think that one thing for me to learn behind this is that this is just it. This is what's going to happen. Like, you have to be prepared. And so I think I'm also being granted time to figure out my plan. Again, I turned 30, and now it's time to figure out my plan of how I want my next 2 to 5 years to go. And then even with that, I thought I was going to be at this job for at least 5 years. I only made it 3. But I think, again, the Lord has granted me time to figure out my plan, what I need to do to erase some debt, what I need to do to start saving for a house, what I need to do to acquire said house, of which way I want to go, to the conventional way or non-conventional way, and things of that nature. So I think, again, I've been granted this time to figure out all of this and put it in a plan and watch when I get the income that I need to how this plan is going to stretch out. And figuring out whether or not Texas is the place where I need to be, where I want to start a family and things of that nature. So yeah, that's how that's been going. So yes, believing in just having faith and just knowing that everything is gonna work out. Every time I talk with my girlfriend or any of my family members, is like, hey man, it's gonna work out. Like, it's gonna work out. And even then, those type of sayings or those 2-3 words, it's going to work out. I'll do that 4 or 5, whatever. You'd be like, it's hard for you to believe, but just don't. If you're in this situation and if you do have a medical condition, and don't lose that faith. I mean, again, if you do have that faith, belief, and stuff like that, don't lose it. It's just it's only temporary. I think as long as we keep applying ourselves, this is only temporary. Putting in the work and application, like I said, I've been putting in, I would say, since November. Honestly, I've been starting since August, but since November, I probably put in over 1,000 to 2,000 applications. Quite frank. Some days I do more or less than others, but I think all around, that's a good safe number, 1,000 to 2,000 applications. And again, that's a lot, but there's a lot of different ways you can put in applications, and a lot of applications are shorter than others. So you put in multiple for the same. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. Even talking about it really takes it out of me. Gladly, we are coming to an end, though. So, words of advice: take the trip. Whatever you're going through, take the trip. You'll have fun. So the only way you're going to figure out what you need for the next trip. Oh, this is not it. However, I do agree. Take the trip. That actually goes to another podcast. Sorry about that. So, like I said, we're coming to an end. So, words of advice. Honestly, the only thing that I can think I can say is find a way to keep insurance. There's plenty of things I can say about my job, but this is for the maintaining medical balance. I must have been on drugs when I said this. Scratch that. We're gonna do it off the dome. So, words of advice. Like I said, take the trip. Figure out a way to get supplemental insurance after, if this was to occur, if you see yourself going down the road of unemployment. Find a way to get medical insurance, because again, anything that happens to you, you just want to be covered. I think again, we can all try to avoid situations. However, if you have a medical condition, find a way to get insurance. Have double coverage. I heard that's a thing. So I think even then, that might be a thing that I might look into, as far as when I get employment, have them coverage through my employer and find something outside of that, so I can have double coverage and I can pay up to a certain time or whatever the case may be. Because again, I don't want to be in this situation again where I'm unable to go to my appointments and I'm unable to get the medication that I need. What else? Another piece of advice is to work. I can't stress it enough. Work on being stress-free. Work on being in an environment that you're not always on the edge. You're not always walking on eggshells. Find peace in whatever moment you decide to be in, wherever that moment is. I know for me, honestly mine is watching TV. I have a chase on my sofa, and I lay out once my day is done, and I think about. Sometimes I do think about the next day, and sometimes I try to honestly think about nothing, or sometimes I think about, oh shit, did I do my Spanish? So yeah, so that's one thing. What else? Conclusion. As for me, I do see things getting better, and I believe that. I do see things getting better. Like again, everyone knows except for me. The Lord told everybody else except for me, so I know it's going to get better. I honestly do. I know I'm doing all the right things, and I am not losing the faith. So yes, I know that I'm doing all the right things. So between putting in applications, reaching out to recruiters, doing all the things that I can do, just from the comfort of my own home, might I add, doing all the things that I know I can do just from the comfort of my own home. That's bringing me that's bringing me peace to know that something will happen, and this is the work, this is the sweat equity that you have to put in to make things like this happen. The tears, the sweat, the nosebleeds, everything. I think my nose has been bleeding. I don't know if it's stress related or just dry capillaries in your nose or whatever it is. But no, like I said, I see things getting better. I know I'm doing all the right things, and I'm keeping the faith. So like I said, it's been a uphill battle. I've learned a lot, I've done a lot, and I've again trying to form these things into habits. I know that once I do get employment, things will have to shift. But I'm also reading a book called Atomic Habits, so I like that book. And even when I do get employment, I will take a lot of those practices now and then, and basically apply them to my new schedule, my new way of doing things, because everything will have to shift, and things of that nature. And even with doing my podcast during the day, whether I will have to shift that back to the times that I was doing it after work every Tuesday. So yes, things are changing, things are shifting, things are getting better. With that, again, shout out. Like I said, good time in New York. Shout out to my family. Shout out to everybody that came and celebrated my grandma. They aunt, cousin, whoever, sister. Yes, one of my grandma's sisters, 93 or 92, is still alive. Auntie Martina, shout out to you. Shout out to people traveling from different countries. Shout out to all the recruiters. I mean, again, I know that you guys are busy. I know that you guys don't check your LinkedIn, but please check your LinkedIn. I reached out to you. I promise you I did. Shout out to all the people that are unemployed right now. Shout out to all the people that have been let go, quit, fire, whatever. Shout out to all the people that are looking for a change. Shout out to all the people with medical conditions and had the bravery to quit. Shout out to the people with medical conditions that are going through the same things that I'm going through. Again, things will get better. Shout out to everybody, man. If you're going through a situation right now, just know that it is going to get better. You have to believe it. You have to see it. Just know that it's going to get better. And best of all, give us a round of applause. So hopefully we're gonna be able to hear that in the feedback. But yeah, man. Shout out to my sponsors. Whoever wants to send me better podcast equipment, definitely take that for sure, because I think I'm over this one. I want to donate this one to somebody, another up and coming podcast. I just know for right now, this isn't where I want to be, up to the mic and stuff like that. And again, this is my second mic, so I've been doing a good thing. And I have the whole stage lighting thing, so I think I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, man, shout out to everybody. Thank you for listening. So subscribe, repost, and bell. So subscribe to the channel on all platforms. Repost if you like what I'm saying, if you think somebody needs to hear it. If you know anybody with a medical condition or whatever, send them this way and they'll hear some very encouraging words and ways to cope with what's going on. Bell, again, if you're on YouTube, hit the bell. If you're on any platform, I think any platform at this point, like, oh, let me notify you if your favorite person posts something from their platform. To that notification system, you're gonna want to hear what I have to say. Promise. How to reach me. So Instagram, comments on YouTube or whatever. All those things. I pay attention to everything. You won't go unnoticed, I promise. All those things I honestly do pay attention to. So yes. Again, thank you guys for listening. It's been great. It's been dope. I hope you really enjoyed. Again, good stuff and more stuff on the way. And yeah, so with that being said, peace. Well, I'm Eli. And it's a good time. The Marfan homies, I can give it to you now.